12th of September, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
My friend the one that published that sefer about the journey through the deserts. So he has a new publication that he put out on Sefer Bereshis, and actually it's not Sefer Bereshis; it's just the first two parshas about the creation of the world and the beginning of man in the world. And he's got a very nice job that he's done. So it looks like a really very nice sefer. So so he asked me to publicize it. People want to get it. I can. Oh, I think I have it right here. I'll put it right over here. The Journey of Mankind. So it's filled with a lot of notes and interesting questions, and all of his charts and the timelines and everything. What took place, generations, and looks like very good reading and important information to know about the beginnings of the world.
Is it a scientific approach or hashkafic approach? What's the theme?
Well, I don't think he gets into. I didn't see over here. Let me see. I didn't see that he gets into the age of the world or anything like that. He's not a scientist, but it's basically from the commentators. What happened on each day.
From a metaphoric standpoint, from a moral standpoint.
What the like what the Ramban says, what Rabbeinu Bechaya says, what Rashi, what Chazal, what the Medrash says.
Sounds like it might be interesting. How much is he asking for it?
Yeah, he went up. I think last time was 70. Last time was 70. This time he went up. This time he's distributed in the stores also for 110, and he's selling it to us for 90.
I'd like a copy.
Great. Okay. So we'll try to arrange to get the sforim over there. So people who wants to buy it, we can get the copy.
That's good.
Okay.
I like the idea of having a book when I know the author, that I could contact him if I have a question.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, you could ask him.
Where are we?
And he has a haskama here in addition to the ones that he had on the last one. He told me he has a haskama from Rabbi Breitowitz.
Sorry, I can't hear you, Rabbi.
Oh, we're offering the Rabbi Arrhenius's new book.
Oh,
It's on the first two parshas of Parshas Bereshis and Parshas Noach. Basically, the story as seen through the eyes of Chazal and the classic commentators
mhm,
on the beginning of the world, the creation, and the seminal events at the beginning of the world, the Chet of Adam Arishon, the Mabul, the flood, the Dora Floga, these types of yeah.
yeah,
It
mhm,
looks very very interesting. He's got
mhm,
he has on the side in the column he has different questions that people would ask, and then he answers them in the book.
mhm. What, how much are they going for?
Uh, in the store, he's selling it for 110, and we're getting it for 90
Mhm,
discount.
mhm. All right. All right. How soccer was a selling? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I'm sorry I'm late. I just running around looking for my siddur. I don't know what I've done with it.
Oh well, Bez Hashem. Hashem
It's-
will bring it back to you.
Oh man, it's the second siddur I've lost this year. I don't know.
Ah,
No, it's not this year. Second siddur I've lost in the last few years.
oh, okay. Not to worry. Okay.
Mm, all right. Think about that. I'll think about that.
It's
So
an old thing, it's not a new thing.
what?
Losing things.
Oh, yes.
Because they have a whole segula for finding your lost item. Elikad the mayor Aneni. So it goes back many many years.
Yeah, no, we got that. That's to fill up from what's his name? Oh, I've forgotten.
Rev Mayor Balanes.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes. We've used it
Uh,
before and it seems to work. We have to try it.
It always works.
Well, let's see. Anyway, we're on page what 113B.
We are on 113B,
Or,
and yeah.
And we
Oh
said
yes.
uh,
And we're talking about walking over the bridge that the king made by
mhm,
appropriating the palm trees from his subjects.
mhm,
So we said yesterday that that Rava holds that we have a proof that the king is not called he's not regarded as a goslin because we walk over such a bridge,
mhm.
and we don't regard it as making use of stolen property.
Yeah, we don't protest. We don't question it.
Well, if it would be a matter of making improper use of stolen property, so then the rabbis would have had to warn us not to walk over the bridge. And we see, says Rabba, that doesn't happen. We see that even they walk over the bridge themselves, the rabbis. So it must be that it's okay to do.
Mhm.
And Abaye said that no, you have no proof. It's true. He can't argue with the fact that that the rabbis walk across the bridge, but the reason why they're allowed to do so is not because the king is not a Goslin. It's because even if the king is a Goslin, but we have a principle of Yeush and Shinui Rishus, or Shinui Maisa, which allows us to walk over the bridge. And it's not because the king's not a Goslin. And the last thing we said yesterday was that Rava disputed that and said that it's not so, because really all you have is Yeush, but you don't have Shinui Rishus and you don't have Shinui Maisa, as Rashi explained. You don't have Shinui Rishus because it's a Rishus Arabim that it's in, and you don't have Shinui Maisa because it's still regarded as the wood of the palm tree over there. For some reason, that's not called the Shinui Rishus and the Shinui Maisa. Okay, so that's what we got up to, and now we're up to the section where the words are V'haloi ka avde keda amar malka.
Right. Okay.
You see where that is?
Yeah, I've got it.
That's the next section.
The last line of the 113b4.
Hello, call. I got it. Thank you.
Okay, so Roy, would you like to start the reading?
Okay. V'ha'laka avdi bid'ah malakah. But they, that is those who chop down the trees, do not do as the king said. What did the king say? Malka Amar Zilu Vakitulu Makol Bagir. The king instructed them, go and cut down the trees from all the valleys. Va'anehu Azalu Kotalu Mahad Vagal, whereas they go and chop down all the trees they need from a single valley.
Oh.
So the king wants them to spread out their acquisitions, but they went to one.
Right. The king says, distribute the gazela equally. So we don't have to gazelle from just from one forest that belongs to people, I guess. It sounds like they didn't have public forests. Why did he take from the public forest? But it sounds like they didn't have such a thing. Either that, or he didn't want to take from the public forest. He'd rather take from private individuals, preserve the public forest. I don't know.
So what's the difference then? I mean, sort of, what's the practical difference in using the bridge? Anything at the moment?
Oh, now there's a question that's being raised. Do we have a Rashi on it? Yeah, this is did we read? Yeah, right. This is the point that's being made right over here, that even if the melech, even if you say the melech has authority based upon the halacha the law of the king is the law of the land, whether that's derisa, whether that's from the rabbis, whatever it is. But that doesn't that means that what do you think, that the king himself is going to go down and cut the tree down? No, he's going to tell his servants to go and do it. Now, what happens if the king tells the servants to cut down? Now, my instructions are that you got to cut down trees from all of the different regions, the different valleys where there are trees, in an equal way, in order to right. That's the way the king wants it to be done. Equality, right? The gezel that he has to do from the people should be equal. No one a person or a group of people should suffer the gezel of the king for the sake of the bridge. So he wants to do it equally. And but the servants say, we don't want to do that. That's a lot of work. We're gonna have to go over here. We gotta have to go over there. Have to go over there. We don't want to do that. What do we want to do? We want to make it easy. So it's hard enough to cut down the tree. So we don't want to have to go traipsing around the whole kingdom in order to get a few trees. So they go to one place and they cut down all the trees that they need for the bridge in one place. So now that's not following the orders of the king. So what's the difference if they didn't follow the orders of the king? Because the only thing that that the halacha recognizes is to do what the king says to do. But if you don't do what the king says to do, you don't have the authority of the king behind you. And therefore, there would be no, even if we said that the halacha regards the law of the king, but if the servants are breaking the law of the king, so then they'd have no authority. So we could, if so, then weiter, we shouldn't be able to walk across the bridge.
Except for one, if they're going to take, say, one tree from each place, then just one tree would be lawful of all of them that they cut down.
Right? They have to follow. In other words, the only thing that's not gezel is to do what the king said to do.
And now what?
So now we're going to see how Rashi explains it. We have a Rashi over here. Vaha lo avde shlichuse kada amar malka.
Let's see, Rashi.
This is like 5 wide lines down in the Gemora. If you go over to where the Rashis are, you'll find that Rashi.
You're on 5 wide lines down.
5 wide lines, only 4 wide lines.
Baha lo avdi, was that what you said, Rabbi?
Yeah. Okay. 4 wide. Go down 4 wide lines, and you'll see it. Kada Baha lo avde. Yeah.
Baha lo avde sheli chosai ked kamar malka. They didn't do the shlichus. They didn't do the task that the king commanded them. V'ash tichach delav dina d'malchusa hu v'amai avrinan alayhu. So let's see. What is ashtakach?
Ishtakach, and then it comes out. It's the result. The result is the result is going to be
The result is that it's not the law of the king. And why? What is of Renan?
why do we walk across?
Why do we walk across on it, upon the bridge?
Yeah, Elihu sounds like there's more than one bridge that the king is building over here. That's, I guess, why he's got to get a lot of trees. So he needs to go to this place and that place, and he's telling them to go to all these different places so they don't take it all from one place.
Why is Rashi asking a question? I would think Rashi would say, and therefore we don't walk across the bridge.
No, because the Rava is saying that we do walk across the bridge. That's the whole proof, says Rava. And Abaya doesn't dispute the fact that we walk across the bridge. He just explains that that doesn't prove that the law of the king is the law of the land. But they both agree that we walk across the bridge.
Oh, so in other words, Rashi's saying if the law of the king was the law of the land, then she's saying it doesn't matter if the law of the king is the law of the land, because this is not the law of the king.
Right. Here, it's really a side question, actually. I think Roy understood that. And I think that's correct. That here we're saying, even if you'll tell me that the law of the land is the law of the land, is the halacha, and that means the king is not a goslin, but that's only if the servants are doing who are doing the cutting down of the trees, they're following the instructions of the king, and so the king has got to the way it works is like this: the king has the authority to I mean, if it's the case that he's got authority to do that, we're saying even for the sake of the argument, even if you'll say that the law of the king is the true is the halacha, and the king's got a right to do this, but his agents have to follow his instructions, because only what he says carries with it the law, and if his workers are not following what he says, so then what they do doesn't have any authority from the king, and so therefore Rashi is pointing out that what the Gemora really means to say is, so how can we walk across this bridge? That's really what the Gemora's statement over here boils down to. The Gemora started off saying Baha. Whenever the Gemora says Baha, that's a question. That's a question that the Gemora is asking over here. What's the question? Well, all the Gemora says is the workers are not following the instructions that the king told them to do, and so we would say, so what? So what else is new? That's what workers do. You tell them to do one thing, they do something else. So what? So who cares? What's that got to do with the price of wheat in China? On that, Rashi's answering the question. I'll tell you what it has to do, because like that, we got a big problem. If that's correct, what the Gemora is saying, then how can we walk across this bridge? Okay. Yeah. Now we're up to we say shlucha de malka malka. Oh, now this is the Gemara's answer. The Gemara is going to answer this right now. Read from where it starts to say shlucha de malka kamalka.
Who do you want to read?
Oh, who do I want to read? Whoever wants to read, they should be the one to read. How about that?
I'll do the Rashis, you do the Gemara.
All right. Shalacha Demalka Kamalka Velo Torah. The king's emissary has all the same status as the king himself, says Rava. We know it's Rava. Anyway, and it is understood that he will not bother to take trees from every valley. The people whose trees were confiscated are entitled to reimbursement from the owners of the trees of the other valleys. Ve'iniyu afasid enough shehu, and if they don't get reimbursed, they brought about their own loss. Right? The iboe lahu the inakut makule bagay or mishkal demay, because they should have obtained compensation from the owners of the trees in all the other valleys and collected money from them, but they didn't do so. Was their initiative to do that, apparently. The owner's initiative.
Okay, so let's see. Do we have some Rashi over here?
No.
Well, we just have Velo Torah.
Velo Torah, is that in here?
Yeah. The initial statement, which constitutes the answer over here, is that the Gemara said shlucha de malka kamalka.
Velo Torah.
Velo Torah.
He won't bother. He won't bother himself. The emissary won't bother himself. Ein alav litaro v'likach mizeh echad umizeh echad. It's not upon him to trouble himself and take from this one and from this one. So in other words, he doesn't have an obligation to go to the different forests. I don't really get that. I mean, he does. That's the king told him to do that. That's his obligation. Why is Rashi saying it's not ain't a law? It's not upon him. What does that mean?
Rashi's explaining what the Gemara is answering. The Gemara is saying there's two parts of the statement that the Gemara is saying over here. The Gemara is saying shlucha de malka kamalka. Now, what does that mean really? The agent of the king has the authority of the king himself. Now, this Rashi didn't explain, but I think this really does need to be explained. And this, I think, will answer your question. Because your question, I think, is where does the because if we just go and say below Torah and we read Rashi's explanation and Rashi says what does it mean lo Torah, and he doesn't bother himself. We know he doesn't bother himself. We know he didn't listen to the king. He's trying to wants to make it as easy as himself. We know that. Says Rashi, no, that's not what the Gemora means. The Gemora means to say is that it's not his responsibility to have to be toreach and do it in that way that the king told him to do it. Now, how could that be? Well, he's allowed to defy the king's orders. Well, what happens if the king finds out that that's what he did? Off with his head. Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the halacha, and the halacha says that shlucha de malka kamalka. What does that mean? I believe that what that means is that when the king tells tells somebody to do something and he makes him an agent to carry out his orders, so what that means is that it's a big chiddush. What that means is that this servant, even though he's a mere servant and he's not a king, he's not the king, he's not the one that decides what's supposed to be done, but he's got halachic authority as far as we are concerned, as far as our issue of can we walk across that bridge. He's got the authority, since he's been appointed by the king to be his agent. He can act out the order, the general order that the king gave him, how he sees fit to do it. And in that, you'll ask, well, he's defying the order of the king. We say he's got the authority of the king behind him. And so what that must mean is that the general authority of the king is to cut down trees. And the king told him to do it in this way. That's gonna be the king told him to do it in this way. He has authority to do it in a way that he sees fit. Why? Because he's an agent of the king. So what? No, says the Gemora, an agent of the king has the authority of a king himself. Shlucha de Malka, ka Malka. The agent of a king is like a king himself. How is it that he's like a king himself? He's not the king, but the halacha regards him like a king, meaning he could decide to do the general order that the king told him in the way that he sees fit. And therefore, the way he sees fit is to not have to exert himself overly in order to fulfill the agency of the king. Okay.
I would expect that the agent of the king would be free to interpret what the king wants done within the limits of what the king wants done. So that if the king did say do it in various places, then he should do that, because that's one of the main parts of the order. If he wants to do it from any particular part of each place, that's all right. That's his way of doing it. If he just wants to do it at random, one from each valley, that's fine. But I think he's still obliged to do one, obliged to spread it over the different valleys. I think not doing it, just doing it from one valley, is going against the king's order. It's cutting down trees, but he's not doing it the way that the king stipulated.
Yeah, right. He's not doing it the way the king told him to do. That's right.
So I have the same problem Roy has. I mean, he's breaking the law. So it's not relevant. It's not a good case for us to be discussing, because it's not relevant to Dina Machusa Dina, because what he's doing is not Dina Machusa.
Let's see what the Gemora says further. The Gemara says, I'm not going to answer you.
We're out of time.
We're out of time anyway. Oh, okay.
I'll have to continue this tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Very troubling. A troubling day with the Gemara.
Okay, good.
No.
So that'll cause you to think about the Gemara throughout the day. That'll be good.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. All right, thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you, Roy.
See you, Lou. See you, Rabbi Levitt. Thank you.
Okay, bye, Roy. Bye, Lou. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.